Good evening. This is Daily Recall for June 24th, 2026, Wednesday night. Hope everybody's having a nice night. Almost school. I think today's the second last day of school for most people, maybe the last day for some already. So hopefully it's a nice, enjoyable summer. What's going on today? Still more reaction to this thing in Regina with the mosque. So basically, it's like a call to prayer, and they're gonna broadcast it on loudspeakers in downtown Regina. So yeah, still a lot of reaction to that. Actually, at first the call to prayer that's broadcast on the speakers, it was like a test, and now it's officially approved, and the police are saying, yeah, we're going to let this happen, and if you complain about it, we're going to charge you with hate crime. So that's the latest kind of development in that. And yeah, there's probably an app for that. If to send to the Muslim people to say, hey, it's call for prayer, like via app. Yeah, I don't think you have to blare it on the loudspeakers. It's just the way of them saying, hey, we're taking over Canada. That's all it is. Like, they literally could just send a notification on an app saying, time, it's prayer time, but so we'll look at that and some other stuff. Same shit, different day. So let's just start. It's us. So a lot of eyes on Europe, how screwed Europe is, because they're closer to Africa and Middle East and India, so they're getting more of the waves. Canada's a little harder to get to, but they're coming here. But look at this, France. Like, what the hell, France? Something just happened in France. Some kid got beaten by a bunch of migrants. Like, they literally stomped his head to death, and he died after, like, in a coma. It's like horrible. So here's a footage of this is a Fête de la Musique. It's like an annual festival, and this last time they just had it, there was like so many incidents of violence, sexual assault. It was a zoo. So, yeah, you can't even go to Paris now. I wanted to visit Paris, but now I don't want to visit. The only time I was in Paris was in the airport. But now I don't even know if I want to go to Paris. So this is what, 30 years ago? Paris, 1998. Okay. And then that's today, like a totally different country. I'm trying to figure out how to. Yeah. That's basically all of Europe. That's not Africa, that's Paris. Alright. So, here's some footage from Fête de Musique. Difference is scary, yes. You don't have to worry about getting raped at this one. Probably the BO that's no good though, but... Alright. You get the picture. Okay, next one. Yeah, it's still Pride Month too. Thankfully, it's almost over. Drag queen story hour was canceled at a public school in Ottawa. In response, retarded parents protested to have their children exposed to degeneracy. This woman is everything wrong with the world. Ottawa's.
Like, wow, this person was dressed up and they looked amazing. What does that mean? And so it was a great jumping off point.
Look at this. Oh my
it's
God.
really nice to make sure that the environment is going to be inclusive. The community,
Inclusive?
I think in general, is happy to have these events.
The gathering welcomed dozens of parents, children, and advocates who say the school's unexplained cancellation came
Look at this
as a
woman.
shock.
She's got the crazy
accept that
eyes.
Some people have expertise in
Look at
teaching
her
our
eyes.
children certain lessons and accepting other kids and learning that queer people and trans people exist and they are a part of our communities and always will be is just a simple part of the curriculum.
A donkey! Yeehaw!
Adriana Expose, a drag performer, was supposed to lead the story time,
Aw.
but in an email to CTV News earlier this week, says the cancellation was due to parental pushback.
Yeah, you'll
Just
think?
sad that we are bending to the will of those voices. When
I wouldn't
we
want
need
my
to be
kid watching.
showing these members of our community, the marginalized
got enough
members
problems.
of our community, that we support them, that they are safe here. That
Look
they
at
are
those
welcome.
eyes.
Fullerton says the gathering shows the support the community
Can you imagine
has
being married to
create
this
a
one?
safe and inclusive experience for their children.
To show our kids that if you're different, it's okay, that you're welcome here, and that we support you, and that we are not bending to
Look
the
at her.
will of
She's got the
unacceptable
bandana on and everything.
narrow-mindedness.
Yeah. So, yeah, these parents, big problem. And they're the ones I would let in. Have no problem letting in millions of foreigners to the country. It's the same. All right. Next, here's the thing for the Regina call to prayer. So, Regina Police Service defends decision to grant mosque a permit to broadcast the call to prayer. The call lasts approximately 3 minutes and takes place over the noon hour on Fridays. Threats will be investigated under recently enhanced Canadian hate crimes legislation. So basically they're saying, if you have a problem with it, we'll charge you with a hate crime. So it says, Regina police are aware of a public discussion. Oh my gosh, a public discussion around a permit issued by the Regina Police Service to a local faith group to amplify their call to prayer via their downtown rooftop speaker. The call lasts approximately 3 minutes and takes place over noon on Fridays. So basically they're saying, no, we're cool with this. Because, obviously the police don't want to look like they're racist. Regina Police Service is aware of threats being made in relation to this practice, and in response, an enhanced police presence will be visible around Muslim places of gathering. Threats will be taken seriously and investigated under recent enhanced Canadian hate crimes legislation. See, I'm sure they'll be coming after all of us. What is a hate crime? Any criminal offense committed against a person or property motivated in whole or part by the offender's real or perceived bias, prejudice, or hate against an identifiable group. So, yeah, don't complain. So, I wonder if someone took their car and cranked the stereo in downtown Regina. They would get a fine, but the call to prayer wouldn't. So, they'll get charged with a hate crime for. So, the point is, why is it a big deal? It's because these traitor politicians from other municipalities are going to say, we got to do this too. So it's going to spread. This sets a bad precedent. There'll be more on this. So more religious freedom here. We give everybody religious freedom here. And, used to be religious freedom was like, you could just go do your worshiping or your religion in your church and nobody's going to go in and bug you. Like, the governments ain't going to come in and shut it down and put you in jail. But for these guys, the freedom of religion means making us have to put up with it. That's what they mean by freedom of religion. It's not just going to your mosque and doing your thing. You got to blare it all over the place. And then we got these guys with their religion dumping all this shit in the water in Canada. Like, you've seen the rivers in India. And I think the idols actually are the least pollution in India. It's probably all the garbage and human waste and dead bodies, but the idols are there too. But yeah, we got pristine rivers and lakes in Canada, and this is what they do to it. This is probably the only religion in the world that says throw garbage into the river or lake. And usually the government would be right on your ass if you're doing this, dumping anything in the water, but no. And they say this is biodegradable, but I don't believe it's zero effect on the water if enough of these are dropped in. But it's not just this; it's their whole habit of littering. Like in Sarnia, I see litter everywhere now. Okay, and it's just a matter of time before our beautiful rivers are going to be full of this stuff. Notice that the idol of Ganesh is the only visible garbage in that pristine lake. They don't care. It's culturally acceptable in India to dump garbage into water bodies until they're literally swimming in filth. Yes, this is ridiculous anyway. And so it's kind of like the Muslim call to prayer. We can't say anything, or else you'll be charged with a hate crime. So if you're sitting in Sarnia and you saw like a group of Indians going to the St. Clair River to dump this stuff in, and you said, hey, stop it, and you stopped them, you get charged with a hate crime in Canada. All right. Next. Here's my ban immigration from Africa segment. 19-year-old who attempted to shoot off-duty Toronto police officer says he's sorry. They're always sorry after. When they get caught and charged, they're the most sorry, sweetest, most sorriest person ever. Police officer, nearly 4 years. 4 years. That's how long it takes to go to trial around here. Told the judge he's truly sorry and asked for a second chance at life. His name's Abdul Ba, which is like from Ghana or something. I've had time to reflect on my actions. At 19-year-old, I was very immature and easily influenced by the round crowd. I didn't think about the consequences of my actions. No, you think? Last November, Ba pleaded guilty to a number of firearms charges, including possession of firearm, loaded firearm, robbery, attempted discharge, and did he not get charged with attempted murder? Attempted murder charge was discharged by the Crown after preliminary hearing, of course. In his sentences submissions, Crown attorney said a 9 to 10 year sentence would be appropriate, less credit for pre-sentence custody. So yeah, I don't think he's going to get 9 to 10. Okay. And this is when cops are getting killed. Okay. So the off-duty cop thought they were attempting to carjack a vehicle, his vehicle or one of the other vehicles, so he made efforts to record the two individuals. The off-duty received his pizza. So basically this guy was trying to carjack somebody, and then he ends up shooting at this off-duty cop. I just want to see what... Okay. Defense lawyer Cameron Cotton O'Brien argued a 6-year sentence would be sufficient, arguing Bob, who's now 22 years old, is a youthful first-time offender. He's already spent 3 years in jail waiting his trial, so he'll probably get time, you get extra credit for pre-trial time, so if he gets the 6 years, he'd be out in no time, basically. Goldstein, the judge, has reserved his decision for sentencing next month. So we'll see. Yeah. Let's bring more people from Africa here. Here's another funny story in Ottawa. Ottawa's full of the woke, crazy women and dysfunctional police department. You saw they cracked down on the convoy. Now they got a police chief. Ottawa police chief is calling out officers who allegedly use law enforcement databases to look up attractive women they saw leaving coffee shops and gyms. So,
conversation with all of you. Change your behavior now or quit. Please, members are using our databases as their own way to meet women. Seeing a woman at a coffee shop.
okay, so this is all he's talking about his own police officers.
And running them on the system. I want to have a serious and an uncomfortable conversation with all of you. Change your behavior now or quit. Leave. Members are using our databases as their own way to meet women. Seeing a woman at a coffee shop, coming out of a gym, driving next to them, getting their license plates and running them on the system.
I wonder who could be doing that.
We've seen members messaging vulnerable victims on calls that they've attended in an attempt to develop an intimate relationship. There's a clear need for OPS leadership to acknowledge that this issue remains present and to speak openly about it. Silence or minimization only allows the behavior to continue.
So it's funny they
Have a serious and an uncomfortable.
he doesn't say who the officers are, but we know police forces across Canada have been recruiting foreigners. So I'm going to bet it's a little bit of foreign corruption in the police force. Recruiting foreigners to work as police is the dumbest idea, and any politician who thinks it's a good idea should be charged with treason. Yes, it might be regular Canadian cops doing that, but I don't think so. That sounds like something some Indian cop would do. Gotta find that chick's phone number. She's into me. All right, so yeah, let's not hire foreigners for the police. Give them a gun and a badge, man, and they're going to just totally abuse it. Next, females over the age of 65 have a 69% approval rating of Carney, 10 points higher than any other demographic. So yeah, females over 65. Sensing a problem here. All right. Will Mark Carney bail out Toronto condo developers too? Yes. We're talking about Mark Carney's Vancouver condo bailout. In Toronto, same issues. Bloodbath for sellers. Tales from the front lines of Toronto's condo apocalypse. 4 years in, owners, investors, and developers have lost fortunes in what may be one of the longest condo corrections on record, and market bottom is still nowhere in sight. So yeah. They were building these condos for the unlimited immigrant influx coming in. They said, we gotta build condos. All right. So yeah, we'll see if he gives them a bailout. We'll see. The Canadian housing market, they've been saying it's a bubble and it's going to collapse. So we'll see if it's going to happen or not. It's definitely too high, the prices. Okay. Here's more Indian pollution. Durham neighbor posted this on Facebook in early June. They chose not to show perpetrators' faces, but sent the full info into the bylaw office. We'll see more Hindu garbage thrown in our waters this summer. Just one of the many consequences of welcoming the wrong people. What's this? I saw a couple sneakily come in carrying some worshipping puja flowers, plastic garland, and synthetic bag, tossing all of them in the lake water. When I confronted them, they acted defensively and said they do it in Pickering Beach, and no one ever said anything to them. I am myself Hindu, so I told them you could dispose these in the temple. They completely ignored me, so I said I'm going to report this. Who are these people when they come? Can they become responsible? This is so sad seeing them of our own people littering in the name of the faith. Back in India, we have made our water bodies air polluted. Please do not do this here. All right. Yeah, just look at how beautiful that water is. And it's like It's like they see a body of water that's clean. It's like, we gotta destroy this. All right. Here's ban immigration from Africa. File 2. A man has been arrested after a young girl. We talked about this the other day. They were looking for him. Well, maybe we weren't talking about it, but they were looking for him. Now they caught him. Man has been arrested after a young girl was sexually assaulted while inside a grocery store in Scarborough over the weekend. So you can't even take your kid to the grocery store. The assault happened in the area of Victoria Park and St. Clair Avenue East. On Sunday evening, according to police, the child was with their parents when the suspect allegedly sexually assaulted them. The suspect fled the area and was chased by a member of the public. On Tuesday, Idris Olajide Oladehu, pretty sure that's a Nigerian name, was taken into custody. Look at this guy. And people are saying, like, oh, how could he sexually assault a kid in the supermarket? It's like, if you've been shopping with kids, you know, depending on the age, if they're old enough, they might want to go get something on their own at a different aisle. If they're young enough, they might run off. I had it happen to me. Now in Canada, before in Canada, you could do that, and wasn't a big deal. But now it's like, you can't even take your eyes off your kid for 1 second in the supermarket or the Dollarama. So, in case, a lot of people are saying, oh, how could this happen? It's like, all it needs is a minute or two. It's disgusting. But this is like the third African that they charged with sexual assault in like last month in Toronto. Because like rape and sexual assault's like going to Tim Hortons for these guys. Seriously. So, I wonder where he's from. Let's say. I'm going to say Nigeria. The other one was from Ghana. But like, why are we bringing them here? Like, Africa is 1.5 billion people. And they all want to get the hell out of Africa. So, I think they should try and fix Africa, because Africa's huge. There's no like lack of space in Africa. There's no lack of resources. It's just lack of will, I guess. And Nigeria, there's 250 million. There's a lot. And they want to get the hell out of Nigeria. And they're all coming here. A lot of them come and Sarnia. Idris Dejo, whatever. Come on, Grok. Nigerian, I knew it. So yeah, why would we bring all these people from Nigeria and Africa? And it's like, it's a totally different culture. Let's bring them here. Okay, next. Minister Lena Diab, immigration minister, meets with provincial counterparts to further undermine Canada's democracy by pushing mass immigration into rural Canada after destroying our cities. I can't stand this one.
From around the world. We will prioritize.
She's useless, this one.
We are in a nation-building era, and immigration will be central to that work. Our approach to immigration must be balanced and well-managed. It has to complement our domestic workforce, not replace it, while attracting and keeping the best talent from around the world. We will prioritize
like our supermarket rapist.
And territorial needs. We will respect the role and continue our targeted efforts to support small and rural communities. We know our economic immigration programs and services can be improved to better support national, regional, and local economic needs with less duplication and fewer delays. We will strengthen our programs and coordinate our efforts to improve settlement and integration outcomes. We'll work to better recognize foreign credentials and collaborate with colleagues from labor portfolios to discuss occupation-specific reforms. We are in a nation...
Yeah, I don't have any faith in these people at all. They're total traitors. She's basically saying, we're still going ahead with immigration. We're going to do it better, though. they're not doing it better. Next. This is a crazy story. This is the kid who went across the country from Alberta to Montreal to shoot at the Pornhub headquarters. And he wrote this big manifesto about hypergamy and how all the chicks are whores and they like the attention. And basically, average guys can't have a monogamous relationship anymore because the society's been ruined by porn and slutty behavior and like the Kardashians and all that. It's pretty interesting. And the video of him he had a shootout with the cops in Montreal, and he killed the one cop, and the woman cop accidentally killed another civilian, and then she got shot, and then it's crazy. I want to see this video. It's a crazy video. So this guy's just standing there. That's the gunman. There's the cop.
What the fuck? He's just shooting the cops. Holy shit. Oh my god.
So that cop's dead. And then this is the bystander. Oh, he gets shot.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. That's Montreal. Oh, God. That's pretty crazy. Okay.
Like my mom.
So yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, apparently he wrote like this 100-page manifesto, and he's like a smart guy, but he's like a commie and Marxist, and I guess he made a lot of points about the the state of society. Okay. So the 34-year-old Montreal police officer Mohamed Lamine Benredoun of Laval and Michel Mizrahi of Montreal both died. So Mizrahi was the Jewish guy, the civilian, and then Mohammed was the cop. Seth Scott Hatfield of Lethbridge, Alberta, 25-year-old. His a manifesto was found in a Montreal hotel room that bears the same name as the alleged shooter. Writing attacks the porn industry, likening it to a twisted substitute for real intimacy. The document frames watching pornography as an activity done in isolation because certain men are otherwise excluded from romantic and sexual partnerships. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's crazy. How many more like this are? How many more disaffected young men are like this? They're gonna pop off. He's not wrong about that stuff, though. Montreal shooters incel manifesto espouse wide-ranging societal grievances. Yeah, they're calling him an incel shooter, but it's more complicated than that. Gunmen behind a shootout in Montreal on Monday that ended with 3 people dead. A police officer, a civilian, and the gunman left behind a manifesto containing violent messages targeting women, police, and others. Concludes with a call for others to arm themselves and enact harm on their perceived opponents. The document makes reference to the state of the Western world and espouses predominantly anti-women rhetoric consistent with the incel or involuntarily celibate ideology. All right. In the document, the government offers various ideas for restricting women, taking them out of the workforce by replacing them with robots and suggesting they wouldn't put up a significant fight. Okay. Manifesto also makes numerous disparaging remarks about the bourgeois social class, a reference to those who are more wealthy and privileged, as well as various types of people he views as swindlers, including proponents of Christianity and cryptocurrency. Okay. Also attributes blame for increased loneliness in young men to video games and pornography, while certain the ranks of like-minded individuals are growing. That's crazy. The document also details what the gunman viewed as specific targets. That is, targets that, in his estimation, were deserving of dire consequences, including major real estate brokerages, private equity firms, supporters of Zionism, health insurance CEOs, pickup artists, plastic surgeons, and those profiting from mass immigration. Underpinning the entire manifesto was an anti-capitalist sentiment. Recurrent reference to hypergamy, coupling with someone of higher status, and a belief that society is structured in a way that results in inequality for white men who are perceived to be less physically attractive. Alright, so yeah, he says there's more of them coming. Okay, next. We'll see if that's... It's going to be crazy shit. Because you got a whole generation of white kids, white men. This guy's kind of a commie, but there's all sorts, and they're all disaffected for one reason or another. So they just see, react all different. All right, next, Mark Emery. Not one of the 343 members of Canada's Parliament have ever spoken out against mass migration to Canada from Africa and Asia. It's radically altering the character, affordability, and safety of Canada. And yet not one of these people's representatives ever speaks about it. Weird, eh? He's right. Like, during the elections, we just had an election last year, barely anything about immigration from any of the parties. So it's like a subject that, it's like the most important subject, and you can't talk about it. And even in Sarnia, I live here. And lately, I see Africans and Indians coming in here, greater numbers. I see them. And before, I was like, oh, okay, I can't go. I go out to the supermarket or the park, and I'm surrounded. Okay, fine. I'm going to stay home. If you want to just avoid any issues, stay home. But now, I can't even sit in my front driveway. There's people walking by from, like, Africa, India, and like they're not really doing anything wrong in the sense, but it's like I don't know them. Like, I had this big African guy walking down my street, never seen him before in my life. Kids are playing, my kid's playing with the neighbor's kid, and it's like I don't know these people. It doesn't matter, they could be all right, but I don't know, they're strangers. I shouldn't have to hope they're not criminals or perverts or dangerous or mentally, I don't trust the government did any proper vetting. And for some reason, they keep coming in. The government seems to bring in lots of newcomers fast. They're much about the regular families feeling safe in their own neighborhoods. And it's like, it's true, like, for thousands of years in a village, let's say, when a strange person who wasn't from the village showed up, people are like, hang on, who's this person? What are they doing here? And most of the time you were met with like a lot of hostility, because like that's how they did it with strangers. But now it's like, we're going to bring all these strangers to your city and you don't even say a word about it. It's so weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just... And it's funny too, is because Sarnia was just literally just a very, like, I remember growing up, you'd see one black person and be like, oh my God, there's a black person. Now it's like I sit in my driveway my point is like they're bringing Africans, and this is kind of like it's kind of like all Canada. Same idea in Sarnia, but all of Canada. They're bringing Africans, Indians, Sikhs, and Muslims and throwing them into Sarnia with the Canadian that are already there, I just say, okay. And they like literally all hate each other. Like the Sikhs hate the Hindus hate the Muslims probably hate everybody because they want to convert everybody to Islam. So it's like, yeah, let's just throw them all into one city and just keep adding and see how that goes. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's all I'm saying. It's just like I literally stand in my driveway. And I was like, okay, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this person? You don't know if they're just like, oh my God, I want to check out my new country, or hey, I'm casing the neighborhood. I don't know. So yeah. But before it was like, okay, I don't want to see any multiculturalism. I'll just stay home. Now I can't even stay home. They moved into the street. Ugh. Next. This is interesting. I said, have you ever heard about the Limp Bizkit Woodstock theory? Limp Bizkit performed Break Stuff at Woodstock 99, and the young male crowd erupted into riots, fires, and chaos. The elite saw firsthand the dangerous mobilizing power of angry new metal music on white men. They didn't like the possibilities that white men could rise up full of anger. They had to stop us before we realized ourselves what we could actually do together. They responded by pulling back support for these bands. In the 2000s, the music industry shifted heavily towards promoting rappers and hip-hop. The goal was clear: stop white male anger and prevent it from rising up against the system. Rock was deliberately sidelined. This was cultural control. Yeah, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins said the same thing, like rock was killed, basically. And you haven't seen any good new rock bands in the last 20 years. All we listen to is the old 90s, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s rock. There's no good enduring rock bands the last 20 years. And I think that's the reason, because usually straight white males were rock and roll guys. And, music is a good way to inspire, mobilize people. So they're like, oh, we better kill rock and roll. And I was thinking this a long time ago, and then when I see posts like that, I was like, yeah, it's totally true. Like, we got the last 20 years where we got Justin Bieber, Tupac, Drake, and whatever, Eminem. That's what we have to listen to. Ugh. All right. So yeah, I believe it. Bring back rock and roll. And there is rock bands, but the labels are the ones that decide what gets on the radio. All right. So more reaction to Regina Police. I wonder what the Regina Police would do if a Christian was to set up a PA system across the street and play hymns at a similar volume for the duration of the call to prayer. Maybe we'll find out. This is so bad, I think. There's more of France. Paris has been ethnically cleansed by third world mass migration in a single generation. I don't know what they're thinking in Paris, in France. Imagine growing up in Paris in 1990s and then having to see the progressive destruction of your city in your 20s and 30s. Horrifying. Many cities, many such cases. Yeah, I was just saying about Sarnia. Doug Ford says sagging polearm is not indicative of his popularity. I'm no Justin Trudeau. He's a fat traitor, though. Well, nobody likes Doug Ford anymore. But even if they replace him, it's going to be the same shit. There's Tupac. All right. Rock music in the 90s was at its peak, sold most concert tickets, merch, and when new metal emerged, it began to mobilize disaffected young white men. Channeled raw anger rooted in economic stagnation, family breakdown, and cultural marginalization into aggressive communal experiences. The elites who shaped cultural production recognized the danger in this. Unified anger among white men carried revolutionary potential if ever directed outward. Rock was killed. By the early 2000s, the music industry completely pivoted towards hip-hop and gangsta rap. by elevating performative thug archetypes and sidelining bands that encourage white male solidarity. The industry helped ensure that popular music remained a tool of pacification rather than awakening. In short, rap is fake and gay.
Like my mom says, I'm arrogant. Totally arrogant.
There's Tupac. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all those rappers are gay. Diddy. Here's Maxine Bernier on the Regina thing. They want to use the new Bill C9 to force us to swallow the Islamization of Canada without us being able to say a word. Those who complain about street prayers and the call to prayer broadcast through loudspeakers across the city will be accused of hate speech. Totally insane. It is. And now they've opened up a can of worms because now other mosques are going to want to do the same. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Regina police stepping up patrols around Muslim gathering places this week. Here's why. Just a friendly reminder that the police in Canada are here to protect third world invaders, not you or your family. Definitely. They're not here to protect your family. Now here's Ben Mulrooney talking about it, and I can't stand Ben Mulrooney. Personally, I think his dad helped ruin Canada, but I don't want to blame him for his dad's misdeeds. But he's kind of a douchebag on his own. But I don't really agree with him on anything. But I actually finally agree with him on something, which is the mosque thing. And I thought Ben Mulrooney would be would cower out and do the politically correct thing, but he's saying it's a bad idea. But he's being very careful, but he's still saying it. So, and his explanation's pretty good. So I'm actually going to listen to Ben Mulrooney. I know.
Public discussion around this, and we haven't talked about this yet. The Regina call to prayer.
Can you imagine having to listen to that?
In the Islamic faith, there is a call to prayer 5 times a day. And in certain places, you can hear the call to prayer on speakers to let you know it's time to come to the mosque to pray or wherever you're going to pray. And I want to be clear.
So he's being careful here. Look at him.
Is not an attack on anyone's faith. This is sounds ringing out in the streets of Regina for the very first time. And the latest that came out this morning is Regina police said that they are aware of public discussion around this. And there are people who are raging against this. There are people who are issuing threats about.
Oh, sorry.
It's not the same thing. It would be the same about this. There are those who are likening it to a bell tolling at a church. It's not the same thing. It would be the same, well, it would be more similar if from that church tower, instead of a bell, you heard a megaphone pronouncing the Lord's Prayer. We understood Arabic, we would hear, Allah is the greatest. I bear witness that there is no God except Allah.
This is what they're going to broadcast.
The first one 4 times. It goes on. This is not. I'm not making a value judgment on the religion. I am saying that this is. I don't. I feel uncomfortable with this.
So
I just do.
It took a while for him to say that, but
I have a problem with religion being pronounced in a public way like this. It is not the same as a bell tolling at a Catholic church, and not for nothing. Foundationally, this is a Judeo-Christian country. It's built on those values. Not to say it's religious, because it's not, but those values are what people came to Canada for. And I don't like it. I want everybody to be able to practice their religion freely, but you are foisting your religion on me. And if this were said in English as opposed to Arabic, I don't know that that people would be able to poo-poo it the way they do. And if this is a hot take for you, well, I prefer it to be the beginning of a conversation.
So yeah, I thought it was the way he said how uncomfortable he is and that, because he's the kind of guy that's like multicultural, not racist, all that. So for him to say stuff like that, even though he was worried about being called Islamophobic, he still said it. So first time ever, I actually agree with Ben Mulrooney. Blasting the Islamic call to prayer on loudspeakers in downtown Regina is a horrible idea and will only encourage other cities by these traitor politicians, led by these traitor politicians. Yeah, they're all going to be running now to do this. All right, we're almost done here. As per design, you'll get more police, more jails, more laws, more rhetoric of tolerance, more rapes, more crime, more taxes, more state, more military, more corruption, more looting, but you won't get mass moratoriums and deportations to make Canada Canadian again. Everything but deportations. Okay. Here's blacks, I support my people. Asians, I support my people. Jews, I support my people. Muslims, I support my people. And whites, I support multiculturalism. All right. Here's Doug Ford. Can't do anything for Ontario except raising the speed limit again, which is fine, you know. But the first thing I thought is now Indians will only be doing 110 kilometers over the speed limit when they kill a carload of children. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Next. I thought this meme was funny. This is the Montreal shooting. Explained. So some dude ambushes cops in Montreal in front of the Pornhub HQ. Female cop shot by a bystander. Dead cop was named Mohammed. A bystander was a rabbi. Yeah, you can write this stuff. It was crazy. What are the chances? And look at this. We're talking about Africans. Yikes. This is in Italy, at a beach in Italy. It's a little graphic. I'll have to warn you. So yeah. Oh. The only reason I'm showing it is because whoever has kids and goes to the beach, this is like your worst nightmare. So yeah. All right. You're at the beach, and then there's this African dude probably jerking to the women in the bikinis. Look at these kids there. Look at this. Oh my God. I said beach vigilante squads are needed. A lot of reaction to this video. But it's like, what the hell, man? And the thing about this video is none of the men in this beach are curb stomping this guy. Like, there should be 10 guys on top of this guy kicking the hell out of him. But European men have been so weakened. Like, they're just so weak. And decades of propaganda telling them they have to give up their country. So that's the result. There should be 10 guys there. And it's like, if I had my kids at the beach and that happened, oh man. It's a parent's worst nightmare. So if you had it's bad enough. We saw the one with the Pakistani guy filming the girls in the Greek beach. Now you got this guy rubbing one out in the Italian beach. And it's like, it's bad enough. You got to worry about them peeping and taking pictures. Now you got to worry about this. Come on. But I'm disappointed in the European men. Because the only way to stop this is vigilante justice. Citizen vigilante. All right. Next. Where's this? Edmonton. Third world Canada. Look at this. This is everywhere. Chatham's got a big one. Sarnia had one. sure. It's horrible. Let's bring in more people from Africa. I guarantee Africans aren't living on these tents. It's Canadians. Okay, next. Of course, Canada's condo bailout is being rolled out first in BC, where immigration and foreign buyer-fueled real estate towers over productive sectors like forestry, farming, fishing, mining, and manufacturing. Yeah, I said this. Canada's economy has so much potential, but instead all we do is import millions of immigrants and have base our economy on housing and real estate speculation. It's bizarre, man. We could be so productive and rich and prosperous, but no. And this will be the last. Oh, yeah. Canada plays the Swiss team today. They lost the Swiss. And I was looking at the game. I had the game on, and I thought, I'll just leave the game on while I'm reading. And when I turned it on, the Swiss scored to make it 2-0. But I noticed it's like, because Switzerland, you think of Switzerland as like this. They make watches and they're bankers and it's like the whole Swiss team looks like most of it. They look like they're from Africa, which they are, but they're playing on the Swiss team. I was like, and I remember growing up watching the World Cup, and you see the German team, you see the Polish team, you see the English team, and they look like the European teams. And now it's like, it's literally just all Africans playing for those teams. In Canada, too. So it's like, I turned the game off right after. It's like, I'm not watching Switzerland. I'm watching some dudes who are playing for Switzerland. They're cooked. World Cup is cooked. I've seen a lot of comments on the World Cup. It's even like Spain, which used to have a great team of Spaniards, is like half African. The only one is Argentina. That's weird. Argentina is like all whites. It's a very white country for some reason. I'm just saying, of all countries, Switzerland, you wouldn't expect that. But I was pretty surprised. I was like, is this Switzerland? All right. Last story of the day. This is hilarious. Conservative MPs launch a fundraiser for LGBTQ+2 refugees. Not for the ones in Canada. They want to bring more here of trans and... So the Canadian government, the immigration has programs to actually attract trans and gay people from like the third world, because they get stoned alive in those third world countries. So let's bring them here. And a lot of them are mentally unbalanced. They take up a lot of health resources and mental health services because they got mental problems. So let's bring them here. And not just the Liberals, the Conservative MPs want to bring them here. So they had a fundraiser. It's for a group that brings them to Canada. Real conservatives would be rallying around real Christians who are understandably concerned about C9 coming into effect, but Conservative Party of Canada are hosting a gay cruise. Yes. So in Canada, there's literally no difference between woke conservatives and woke liberals. Literally no difference. So I think the conservatives are going to go the way of the ones in UK. They're dead in the water. They're at like 15%. And the only people voting for the Conservatives in the UK are old people. They got an African as the leader, which is crazy, a Nigerian. So I think the Conservative Party of Canada is going to go the same way, same path of irrelevance, especially with this kind of stuff. They're just as liberal as the Liberals when it comes to immigration, when it comes to this trans nonsense. It's crazy. So that's it for tonight. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow, June 25th. we'll see what happens. We'll see. Until then, everybody have a nice night. We'll see you tomorrow.